All right. Hello, everybody. This is Sports Dynasty NFL with your host Juan here, delivering a wild card weekend preview of the 2022 NFL season. Before we get into it, show some love by giving us a thumbs up and a subscribe. It's free for you, and it will help us a ton. Much appreciated. As you can see, I'm alone today for reasons that we don't really have to get into. It's minuscule, poquito, whatever. It's fine. So we have the wild card weekend coming up. Um, I would say is action packed, but not really. Not really. A lot of games, but for some reason for this year, I thought it was bad last year. This weekend we got like half of them not really mattering too much because of injuries and whatnot. So that part won't take very long. So let's go through some of the storylines that have been popping up this week. For example, we have Belichick and Kraft had their meeting. I believe it might have been yesterday. It's fourth wall breaking time is Thursday right now. So I think they had their meeting Wednesday, and they expect changes to come real soon. Whatever the hell that means, I don't know what that means. Me being the skeptic that I am, I'm not expecting much or anything at all. So I really don't care what reports are saying. I'll be ecstatic when certain people go out, get their fat asses out the door. That's all I care about at this point as a Patriot fan. All right, Patriot stuff out of the way. Now, Roquan Smith's contract with the Baltimore Ravens, a 5-year, $100 million deal for a linebacker that is 45 million guaranteed, the absolute second. The ink from Roquan's pen went on that paper, and it's going to be overall 60 million guaranteed throughout the entirety of the length of this contract. It's an extension, so he got his cash. However, that is not the reason why this is a big deal. This is a big deal because Ravens kind of have a quarterback to sign. They drafted Lamar Jackson 2018. It times up to get him some money, and they gave $100 million to a linebacker. Hmm. They did trade for him from the Chicago Bears, so we all kind of knew he was going to get a contract with his team. But when you have a franchise quarterback to sign and you decide to sign a linebacker, hmm, kind of doesn't seem like there's much chance that Lamar is wearing the black and purple next year, huh? Especially with Lamar being his old agent and all, trying to get like 200 million guaranteed to get that Deshaun Watson money that no quarterback is going to get, by the way. No one is as stupid as Cleveland. I don't know why people don't really realize that. It's like, oh, he got this. So no. No franchise is the new Browns, just like no franchise in NBA is the Minnesota Timberwolves. When you're not gonna get a whole's ransom and more for something that is obviously not worth all that at all. There is no player worth the amount that Deshaun Watson got. If Mahomes didn't get it, if Josh Allen didn't get it, then you're not getting it. So I don't know where all that shit's coming from, but whatever. Uh it's looking like he might be wearing different colors next year, man. We'll see though. We'll see. Baltimore is a great organization. They're very smart, so they know what they're doing most of the time. They're well run. So we'll see. Maybe something's coming that we don't know about. Whatever. All right. I'm gonna spend some time on this topic that I actually prepared for a while. And I guess I kind of waited for the end of the season just to see how things panned out with this specific team, because they were actually going on a little bit of a run. Then it stopped. Then it started. Then it stopped. So based on if you listen to us throughout the entire season, Trevor and I, there are two teams that I'm referring to when I say starting and stop and starting and stop. That's kind of how roller coasters go, right? Up and down, up and down. They'll stop for a second, then drop, and then they'll rise up very slowly. They'll stop, and then they go down. The roller coaster teams that I deem for this 2022 season are the New Orleans Saints and the Las Vegas Raiders. Since the New Orleans Saints aren't dealing with anything that we know of right now, I'm talking about the Las Vegas Raiders. Therefore, this week's news that popped up yesterday or today, I don't remember which one, is that Derek Carr will now be up for trade. The auction has started for Derek Carr services. So it's looking like, and kind of guessed this is going to happen around midway through the season, that Derek Carr is also going to be wearing some new colors coming into the 2023 season. He is going to be out of the Raiders. Silver and black is gone. And he didn't do himself didn't really do himself justice this year. He had a pretty bad season. The stats, the box score doesn't really say, as I call it, the box stats, the box score. It doesn't really do him that much justice in terms of bad. I mean, he did throw for 60%, which is absolutely egregious. That was egregious 5 years ago. It's astronomically bad this year. 3,500 yards. He went 24 and 14, I guess, but those aren't adequate stats at all. I'm trying to see what was his yards per 10. But 7 is not that bad. With Devontae Adams, 60%, that's no bueno. Only 3,500 yards with Devontae Adams, no bueno. Can't happen. So, with that being said, now the entire narrative that's going around Derek Carr is that he's bad, he can't play football, he's never been that good of a quarterback anyway. What took the Raiders so long? Yada 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 yada. Hush. Wait a minute. Freeze. Seize and frisk. What's going on? Hold up. Why is Derek Carr getting all the destruction that's going his way right about now? I don't understand. Hold up. If I'm not mistaken, does he not play for one of the worst run franchises in the last 15 years? Did people forget how bad this Raiders organization actually is? How it's been? Like, the Raiders haven't been well run since I was in elementary school 20 years ago. And that was only like 3 years. They started sucking the second they traded away John Gruden in 2002. After that, they've been a fucking mess ever since. So that's literally 20 years ago. Hold up. Why are we not giving Derek Carr at least a little bit of leeway? Now, let me get this out for you right now before we start coming at me talk about, oh, you're a truther and all this. Derek Carr's not a perfect quarterback. He never was a perfect quarterback. He never will be a perfect quarterback. And I actually don't even know if he's a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. I'm not sure. I'm leaning towards no, actually. But he's not in the level of, like, people are trying to put him in, like the Baker Mayfield levels, and people that's trash or has become trash like that, the Zach Wilson levels. All these other backups that they're trying to compare him to. Oh, he's never going to start again. Oh, he can't do this. Oh, why would I want to trade for someone like him? A lot of franchises would love to have someone like him under center in their team. Let me put you in your place and let me put you into perspective as to what this man has gone through since his rookie year, after his, I believe, second round draft choice, since his rookie year in 2014, what he has gone through in this sorry sack of an organization. Because you guys love to pick and choose who gets the benefit of the doubt from where they're drafted at and their situation, and it doesn't matter, right? Because Baker Mayfield is one of the biggest polarizing names out there right now. He sucks, sure, but you forget where he came from and what has been going on with him in half of his Cleveland tenure. But no one want to hear about that shit, right? Whatever. You guys make me sick. But anyway, not you smart people. I love you smart people. Sports Dynasty loves smart people. The other ones, the hypocrites. Whoo! So, the 2014 draft, he was drafted along with Khalil Mack in the first round. Gabe Jackson's a good guard for them. So a couple of other players here who don't really do much because it's DTs and whatnot. 2015, Amari Cooper was drafted with their first draft choice, and there's a whole bunch of nothing after that. For a majority of the people aren't even in the NFL anymore. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players on the draft anymore. 2016, Carl Joseph. Is he even still in the team? I feel like he left. He did. He's in Pittsburgh right now. So he lasted about 4 years and left. So that was pretty much a bust draft choice in 2016. Jahid Ward, I don't even know who the hell that is either. I'm pretty sure he left too. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams, 5 players are not even NFL anymore at all. 2017 is the worst. There's only one player in this whole draft who's still in the NFL to this day, and that is tackle David Sharp. Everybody else is not in the NFL anymore. Gary and Conley was a corner who was drafted first in their first selection. None of these guys are there anymore. Left the 2019. I think you know where I'm going with this. This is a lot better in 2018. Colton Miller was drafted as his best lineman right now, since he's still in the team right now. Everybody else, Brandon Parker not in the team. Arden Keem, he doesn't even do all that much. No, Brandon Parker is in the team. I'm sorry. Key's the one that left. Maurice Hurst Jr. is a defensive tackle. Okay. No notable players in that draft. Okay, 2019 is much better. Cleveland Farrell, albeit drafted a little high, is a decent player. Josh Jacobs is the one who carried the offense this year in 2022, leading rusher of the NFL, I believe. I don't know if he's going to stay in the Raiders, but he's going to give himself a payday. So that's someone who's great. Jonathan Abram is a decent safety for being a first round pick. I'm not sure if that's worth it. Trayvon Mullen, Max Crosby is the best player in the team. He's great, absolutely sensational. 4th round pick. There you go. So 2019 is a lot better for Derek Carr. Foster Moreau's okay. So okay, tight end, nothing to be splashy about, but again, being a 4th round pick, not bad. Hunter Renfrow is a damn steal, 5th round pick. Hunter Renfrow is a slot guy who was very good. Unfortunately, was missing for the majority of this season. No one wants to talk about that. They didn't have a slot receiver in the Josh McDaniels system. Being a Patriots fan, I know about Josh McDaniels system, and slot receivers are very essential to that. But forget all that, right? Hunter Renfrow doesn't mean not being there doesn't matter, huh? Him missing for the majority of the 2022 season, that doesn't matter. Yep. So 2019 is significantly better. That's I think that's Mayok's 2nd draft. I think that one actually hit pretty well. Henry Ruggs arrested. Damon Arnett should be arrested if he's not already. Lynn Bowden, Brian Edwards, who I don't even think is in the team anymore. Tanner Moose, John System, a whole bunch of people. All right, Alex Leatherwood literally traded after 1 year. He's one of the worst linemen we've ever seen. Trayvon Morrick's okay. There's a couple of other people here. Divine Diablo, Tyreek Gillespie, and I don't know a single person in 2022 draft. Jalen Parham, Zamir White, Neil Farrell, Matthew Butler, Thayer Munford, Britton Brown. That's the 2022 draft. I don't know a single person from that draft at all. But they're rookies, so people come out, break out a year or two later. I'll leave them alone. I don't really destroy rookies like that unless they're that bad, like Alex Leatherwood was a year ago. That was his tackle, by the way. So the point for that little exercise is that how much support did he really have? A little bit, but not much. A little bit, but not much. But that's not the worst part. The draft aren't the worst part at all. Let's go through his coaching carousel, shall we? Shall we go through it? If you hear a quarterback has to go through a coaching carousel, that alone should tell you all the bullshit that he has been through his entire career and should get at least a little bit of slack for not being as great as everybody wants him to be. Because coaches actually matter a lot in the NFL. Again, another thing that for Baker Mayfield, no one gives him slack for. He's had 4 coaches in like what? No. I'm trying to think. It's 4? No, it's 3 coaches in 4 seasons with the Cleveland Browns. You're supposed to have 1, not 3, but no one gives him any slack. Mind you, again, he sucks. He won't be starting this league again. We've already talked about that. Now, there's a reason why I keep mentioning Baker Mayfield. 2014 is rookie year. Dennis Allen started 0-4 with him, got fired right in October. That's already a bad sign. The rest of the year, Tony Sparano coached them, and he went 3-9. So overall, they went 3-13. The team was 30th in DVOA that year, 26 on defense, and I believe they were 25th on offense. So they were right on par being garbage, which led them to get Mark Cooper. Now, his next coach was Dak Del Rio from 2015 through 2016. In 2015, they were 15th in DVOA, 16th on defense. And I believe they were 17th on offense, so one little bit below on defense. Jack Del Rio is a defensive mind, by the way. Before I do that, I'm sorry. Jack Del Rio, as the Raiders head coach from that time frame, went 25-23, went to the playoffs in 2016, and went 0-1. Derek Carr was not at that game. He broke his leg, I believe, 2 weeks prior to that playoff game. So, damn. Now back to the rankings. 2016, they were 10th in DVOA. This is the year they made the playoffs. They were 7th on offense, but 24th on defense. I wonder who was carrying that load that season. 2017, they were 20th in DVOA, 13th on offense, 30th on defense. I did read you those players that were drafted around that time, especially that specific season in 2017. Who the hell was in the defense? There you go. 2018 through 2021 was the return of the 10-year, what was it, $100 million man? John Gruden. I think it was $100 million for 10 years. John Gruden. He went 22-31 throughout his tenure. So in 2018, they were 31st in DVOA, 25th on offense, and 31st on defense. As expected. You see the state of that roster at the time, and then they had to learn all his new system. And John Gruden is not necessarily known as a defensive guy, so not surprising. 2019, there's some improvement. 25th in DVOA, uh, 9th on offense. So Derek Carr got the system going, but 31st on defense. Still no defensive players coming up, but they remember that 19 rookie class. Max Crosby didn't really break out until about 2020-ish, late 2020-ish, if you guys remember correctly. So you'll see here. 2020, 19th on DVOA. This is the year, I believe, that the Jets let them win on purpose, if I'm not mistaken, just for some comedy here, because I'm usually the funny one. 19th in DVOA, 14th on offense, step down, 28th in defense, a little bit better. And then 2021, Gruden's final year. 21st in DVOA. Remember, this is only a portion. Remember, Rich Bisaccia, who was up next, actually coached the majority of the season. He coached about, I want to say, 12 games, or 12 out of 17 games he coached that year. So this is only a little sample size. If anything, this is probably a lot worse when John Gruden was coaching. I remember them being pretty damn bad. 21st in DVOA, 19th in offense, 17th in defense. Now let's go with Rich Bisaccia, who was the interim head coach 2021. Went 7-5, 0-1 in the playoffs. When they snuck in the playoffs, and when genius Brandon Staley decided to not elect for a tie, not overtime loss against the Raiders in week 18, when they both would have made the playoffs. That was this playoff run last year against Cincinnati Bengals, in which Bisaccia and Derek Carr ultimately lost at Cincinnati. Like I said, they were 21st in DVOA, 19th in offense, 17th in defense. You guys remember that season correctly. This was the season where a lot of players were being either locked up or getting kicked out by the NFL because of certain racial and derogatory terms that were said in emails by a certain Mr. John Gruden. 2022 under Josh McDaniels, 6-11 season, 26 DVOA, 17th in offense. That was mostly because of Josh Jacobs. I will happily admit that right here. And 31st in defense. Have you guys noticed that the majority of the time that Derek Carr was in this team, his defenses were negative? Who would have known? Who would have known? Now, with Derek Carr's little resume, 3-time Pro Bowler from 2015 through 2017, ironically through the Jack Del Rio years. I thought he was a little better on offense, a little better with John Gruden under his tenure, but according to the Pro Bowl voters, guess not. I think his best completions, his best accuracy numbers came under John Gruden. His best numbers came under John Gruden. I guess when, Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow, and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are all taking over the little end of the tenure there, with Tom Brady still being in the AFC for the majority of those years. I guess that's the reason why Derek Carr never really made a Pro Bowl like that. Versus 2015 through 16, who you really got? You got Roethlisberger, Tom Brady, and that's basically it. So it's a little easier to make it when there's not much competition during those seasons. It was Tom Brady, and it was Tom Brady by far. from 2015 through 17. The only one was Roethlisberger was the one that was really making shots. Shoot, Alex Smith was probably a top 5 quarterback in the AFC at that point in time. There's your transition period. 2018 is when Mahomes showed up. So, Lamar Jackson showed up, the rookie. So that's when all those guys came up. Before that, it was a little. You see how we made fun of the NFC coming into this season quarterback wise. That's kind of how the AFC was around the middle of the 2010s when Peyton Manning lost his arm. So that's how it is. So the point that I'm trying to make, so we can move on to the action, because I know that's what you guys really care about. I know you guys don't care about Derek Carr, and I feel you. I really do understand that. Is really put things into perspective. Just because someone looked bad the one real year where he looked absolutely terrible doesn't necessarily mean that the guy is terrible himself all the time. Maybe he just didn't click with the system, which is a high possibility, especially when the system that he's trying to get through really emphasizes the running game and really emphasizes slot receiver play. When you're missing your slot receiver for the majority of the year, it's kind of hard to see how that goes. And when your offensive line is bottom 5 the entire time, and they can only run block because Josh McDaniel's system really emphasizes run blocking, it's kind of hard to get things done. Am I making excuses for Derek Carr? Not for this season. I'm making excuses for his entire Raiders tenure, saying that he wasn't really supported the way that a lot of other quarterbacks that usually succeed are treated. You've seen the draft. You've seen the coaching carousels he had to go through. You've seen all the rankings that the team wound up being while you went through his whole tenure. How he's, for the most part, outside of maybe 2 seasons, for the most part, has to carry this team on his back to get them into mediocrity. The majority of his tenure, they've been in mediocrity. 7 wins, 8 wins, 6 wins, maybe 9. You'll sprinkle in a 10 here and there. He's a lot better than what people think. He's a lot better than what people remember, apparently. Is he the end all be all? I'm gonna win a Super Bowl with this guy. I don't think so. But I just think he's quality. Especially from the quarterback play we've been seeing in this disgusting season. He's quality. He'll definitely rise up a decent amount of the franchises who are looking for a quarterback. For example, the New York Jets could use a quarterback like him right now, who with him, they're guaranteed a playoff team. No question, with a talented roster like that, who could even maybe go as, depending on Salah's coaching decisions, could possibly even reach a Divisional 2 AFC Championship game. I don't think he'll ever go any farther than that with Derek Carr. But with a talented roster like that, who was the best roster he would have played with by a freaking mile, he would be supported enough to get you to at least as far as the divisional round, no question. They'll win 11 or 12 games under him with a roster like that. I am so convinced. Stop killing Derek Carr's name more than needs to be killed, okay? Stop rubbing his name on dirt more than needs to be rubbed. It's not, you guys are off if you think he's a bad quarterback. You're insane. And my Derek Carr defend segment done. Let's talk about this weekend's matchup, shall we? Let's start in order. Let's start for Saturday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. Seattle Seahawks at the San Francisco 49ers. 49ers are favored by 9.5 over and unders 42. Well then, the Seahawks capped off a 2-win winning streak to sneak into the 7th seed for the NFC. Congratulations to them. Congratulations for Geno Smith for actually not breaking the single season passing record for the Seattle Seahawks. He also wound up taking them to playoffs in his first try, and this is one of Pete Carroll's best seasons. Kudos to him. Congratulations to him. The man definitely does deserve it after all the crap that he's done in Seattle with Russell Wilson. And, well, apparently, according to a lot of other people, what Russell Wilson's cost him. Don't believe it, but whatever. But this ride definitely ends here. I'm not even going to go through DVOA numbers, stuff like that. There's no point. The Seahawks, I cannot unsee the downstick that I saw them go throughout the December. They're going to go through a juggernaut San Francisco 49ers running game with Christian McCaffrey, maybe even with Deebo Samuel. We do not know yet. We'll find out. It's a little early. We're going to definitely know by tomorrow the injury reports, because Thursdays today is the last practice for the teams. McCaffrey alone should be able to destroy them. Can't unsee it. if I'm not mistaken, the Seahawks got absolutely obliterated both times. San Francisco 49ers played them. It didn't matter where it was. San Francisco covers this 9.5-point spread. I love a 28-17 victory for the San Francisco 49ers. That's one of three games that are freaking meaningless. Let's go on to one of them that's actually meaningful and I'm excited for. Chargers visit the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Chargers are road favorites by 2.5, which opened up at 1, by the way, and went up to 2.5. So Chargers got some support as favorites. Usually a mistake. Over and under 47.5. There is a chance. Remember what I was yelling about in the last episode? About Mike Williams not playing. He did not practice 2 days in a row. This is the day that we're going to find out if he's going to play or not. And based on the fact that he did not practice in 2 days and things are looking doubtful, they are not going to have their most important receiver for this game. With that being said, since I can't really hedge because I am on camera, I'm just going to pick the Jacksonville Jaguars to digest a home upset and actually get this victory, even though I will be honest, my stomach does not feel good saying that. My gut is telling me Chargers, but for the fact that they're not gonna have their top receiver, and we've seen how Justin Herbert and them look without Mike Williams being able to stretch the field for them and being their big play guy. I don't see how they're gonna be explosive enough to go against a really frisky and really opportunistic Jacksonville Jaguars defense. This is the first time they've been in the playoffs since 2017, and they are very streaky when it comes to pass rush. And if that pass rush gets to Herbert, there's gonna be a freaking issue. I'm picking Jacksonville to win this game 24-20. I love the under in this game, especially on a primetime game. And Trevor Lawrence gets his first playoff win in my book. Now, to Sunday. The second out of 30 games that does not matter. This is the one that doesn't matter the most. Dolphins will be traveling up to Buffalo at 1 o'clock Eastern time on Sunday. Dolphins at Bills. Bills favored by a whopping 13 points. I believe this game opened up at -8 for Buffalo as favorites. Over and under is 43.5. We'll do this very, very quickly. Buffalo is going to cover that spread, and I wouldn't be surprised if they almost double it against Skylar Thompson. Tua will not be playing in this game, and this is just that easy. And Buffalo is getting healthier and healthier and healthier to the point that there is a chance that the following week, Micah Hyde might actually make a return. I doubt he plays in this one, but there is a chance he might play against the next round, which I'm going to assume will be against an Ohio-based team. We'll get to that soon. I'm not even going to give you a score. I don't care enough to give a score about this game. Now, the second game that actually matters. Giants at Vikings. Vikings are only 3-point favorites. I want to say this opened up at 2 for Minnesota, so it didn't go up that much. I think the Giants are getting a lot of love, hence why the spread went up by a point. The over and under is 48, and we are really looking at any offensive lineman that might be playing for the Minnesota Vikings because they got a little bit of issues on that offensive line, and we're going up against a very gritty, very scrappy, and I would go as far as to say physical New York Giants front that kind of remembers what happened to them the last time they were in this building in Minnesota. 61-yard game-winning field goal to end their chances. We'll see if they are able to go through this a second time. Minnesota kind of didn't really look good at the end of the season, skipping that little Chicago win that literally nobody watched. I'm pretty sure they did not because it did not matter. I'm going to go with the upset. I'm going with the New York Giants to get their revenge from that last game. And I will be honest again, my stomach doesn't feel right. But I respect Brian Daboll too much. I don't think they'll get beat twice like that by his team, especially how they almost beat him with the amount of receiver injuries that the New York Giants are. And we'll forget injuries, just not just that. It's also just inadequacies that the New York Giants receiving core has also. I wonder who will wind up being suiting up. It'd be really funny if Golladay suits up and does what he did against the Eagles last week. That'd be great. I'm gonna go with the Giants. I don't feel good about it. I love a 23 23-21 victory from the New York Giants, them winning by a game-winning field goal. Instead, would be poetic justice, ending the Minnesota Vikings. But we've seen the Minnesota Vikings do unimaginable things this year. Both teams are pretty low in the DVOA standings because they just found ways. They are the two teams in this whole bracket that finds ways to win no matter how inadequate their roster may be. It's insane. This would be another fun one though. This is the game to watch on Sunday, no question, because this next one, Baltimore traveling to Cincinnati. Cincinnati are 9.5-point favorites. Over and under 40.5. There should be no, not should. There's most likely going to be no Lamar Jackson on this game either. Therefore, the Bengals are going to cover the spread very easily. The Bengals, just like the Bills, we're praying for no injuries in this game. It's going to be very simple. There's no point in coming up with any real explanation for nothing. I don't care. Bengals will move on. They'll more likely be the team to go to Buffalo and really they're going to have probably an all-timer in our hands and one that'll make up for the unfortunate game cancellation we had 2 weeks ago. So Bengals, Bills, that's what's looking like. As for the other AFC game, Jacksonville traveling to Kansas City, another one that Trevor and I probably going to skip next week. All right. Cowboys, Bucks. Cowboys are 2.5-point favorites on the road. This is Monday night on ESPN/ABC Network. The over and under is 45.5. It's kind of hard to unsee what we saw last Sunday. What the Washington Commanders, my bad. Washington Commanders absolutely annihilated Dak Prescott specifically and the Dallas Cowboys against all odds. Is interesting with a rookie quarterback with Sam Howell. I'm picking Tampa Bay in this game. I'm gonna do it. We've been seeing in the show for a while. We've been seeing it a lot more vulgarly, if you want to say that, off camera. That Dak Prescott, this is one of, if not his worst season. This dude is literally good for 2 interceptions a game, 2 big mistakes a game. Though he's the biggest box score quarterback I think I've seen. Not even Kirk Cousins is that bad. Like his stats will look great. You see 40 attempts, 28, 29 completions, 350 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He took 5 sacks because he didn't know how to throw the ball away. His turnover worthy play rate actually probably like 6 because he should have thrown another 3 interceptions, but they dropped the ball. Like against the Commanders, he probably should have threw 3 interceptions, but he only wound up throwing 1. They dropped 2 picks. This is Dak Prescott all season. This is Dak Prescott all year. The Buccaneers defense actually has gotten a bit better over the past few weeks. Tom Brady actually looks like he cares again. We'll see if that lasts. That could be just the Carolina game, but he might actually care this time. Playoff Tom is a different animal. We'll see if the rest of the team actually rises up with him, which I think they will for this specific game. I'm going Tampa Bay to get the quote-unquote upset against the Dallas Cowboys, and I think we will be having some interesting things to talk about that next Tuesday or Wednesday episode when if McCarthy and or Staley will continue to coach in this league after those few days. We will find out. But I love Tampa Bay in this game. This is the one upset that I'm actually pretty confident in. This is really take out the trash part 2. I don't remember last year, the review show for the Super Wildcard Weekend is what NFL calls it. We called it taking out the trash when the Patriots got destroyed, when the Steelers got destroyed. All those teams got just absolutely dusted the wayside. The Eagles got destroyed by Tampa Bay last year. This is looking like it's going to be part 2 with the Ravens with no quarterback, with the Dolphins with no quarterback, with the Seahawks that probably shouldn't have been here in the first place. I think it's time. Take out the trash part 2. That's going to be our little sneak preview title for our review episode next week. That's going to be my predictions for this wildcard weekend. So if all goes the way I think it's going to go, these will be the future matchups for divisional round weekend, the following one, okay? So Kansas City will be visited by the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Bengals will be visiting the Buffalo Bills. That's the AFC side. The NFC side, I have the Eagles will be visited. I believe is going to be by the New York Giants, part 3, which, whatever. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be going to San Francisco, which could be a fun one. We'll see how it goes. Um, Based on everything we're saying, the best matchup by a country mile is going to be Bills and Bengals. That's the one everybody's going to want to see. That's going to take up one of the night slots, either on Saturday or Sunday night. On the NFC side, is probably it's going to be Sunday afternoon. I forget, on Sundays I think it's the afternoon slots, and on Saturday it's the 4 Eastern time and 8 Eastern time. While Sunday I think is 1 Eastern time and 4. So I think that 4 o'clock one on Sunday is probably gonna be the 49ers one with Tampa if it happens. And the night one, Saturday night, I believe is gonna be Bengals at Bills. Those probably gonna be your 2 prime time ones. And then the Chiefs might be 1 o'clock on Sunday. And was it the Giants and the Eagles probably 4 o'clock on Saturday? It's my guess. My guess. We'll see. We will see. With that all said, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoy my little Derek Carr thing. You probably didn't because no one likes him. It's fine. It's whatever. I just felt like I need to defend him a little bit, to keep people's minds into perspective and stop listening to all types of crap they're probably listening to out there. So thank you guys for listening. Again, if you like what you heard, if you enjoyed my little bantering, if you miss Trevor even, please drop a like on this video. Please rate us on iTunes and Spotify and wherever else you get your podcast platforms at. Please support the show. This is what we do here. We are welcome. We also have a Facebook group that we welcome all types of fans all over the world. Please wind up going there. All links will be in the descriptions below, whether it's on the podcast or on YouTube. Okay. But thought all that, much love for you guys. Let's have a fun weekend of football. Peace out.